Hey yo, what up, what's happening? Welcome back to the Desert Podcast. We're doing our December special. I'm hanging out with Eleine. What's up, Eleine? What's going on? Do you think it was a good idea for you to sign to Columbia Records? It was a terrible one.
It was a terrible one. But I know I've gone mom.
But yeah, welcome back to South Africa, man.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
Really nice.
I'm alright.
How was the festive?
Festive went by as fast as it gets.
What was fast, man?
Literally, guys. Like, I cannot believe the malls are now empty again. Like, they were buzzing just the other day. Usually, we are back to no traffic.
Yeah.
And load shedding, of course.
Hey, Mzanzi. Hey, Mzanzi. So if you had 30 seconds to sell yourself, what would you say?
Sure.
Yeah, 30.
30 seconds to sell myself. So now I'm in a 10-year waiting admission by profession.
Okay.
I am 25 years of age. Mm-hmm. I am Sandton based. I almost said Cape Town based. I need to at some point. I'm Sandton based and I'm from Burgersfort. Mm-hmm. But we relocated here sometime in, I think it could be 2012. And then I think that's over 30 seconds, guys.
That's over 30 seconds, isn't it?
Way over 30 seconds.
So you grew up in Ramarishan?
Yes. I grew up in Ramarishan. I spent about the first 15 years of my life there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 15.
So you came this side when you were really like a little teenager?
Yeah. I was an entire teenager. I had to adapt to a whole new living system. It's quite a jump. Funny enough, the places are not too far apart, but how things are done in different ends.
Joy, it's a little bit fast in Burgersfort because I tell him.
It's a lot faster, but I think also, it has a lot of developmental areas. So our minds and things that Ramarishan doesn't have.
I don't know about that, but there's just stuff going on.
Fair.
Because
things that should be developing
Burgersfort.
Yes.
So how was the move like for you moving from that to the transition as a teenager?
I think the transition wasn't so initially, right? I did my grade 9 at a public school or Komotro, right?
Yeah.
And that was a jump because I was coming from comprehensive, which is like a private-ish school, contained first. Yeah. So coming to Hokodibeng, things were so different. Like, Kaliwa break you are fewer than before you went, and you're a lot more in class. It's normal that 9 people in a class of 100 and something passed. So that for me was a big jump, right? And then I started my grade 10 in the remainder of my high school or Calvin, and it sort of felt a bit like comprehensive. But Calvin is
with a little bit of
yes, Calvin is the cream. I'd like to argue it's the cream of Burgersfort, guys. As far as it comes to
the reason we're here is because of Calvin. I feel like
absolutely.
If I didn't go to Calvin, I wouldn't have been introduced to the media lifestyle, the arts, and the whole. Yeah. I think I would have taken a different path in life.
Absolutely. And it has remained. Well, I'd like to believe it has kept true to its cause because even when you look at its products post my time, I can now say that really when you look at its products post 2016, it hasn't just maintained its name, but it has also maintained the quality of the standard, yes, which is something many schools battle with, especially when there's a change of leadership, when there's a the change of the teachers, you find that they lose what it is that establishes the school and why it is that it must remain what it is.
So what was Calvin like for you? Like from like the social life that you experienced there?
Yeah.
And now coming to Calvin, like you're saying, it felt like a space that you were a bit familiar with. Mm-hmm. Did you have more friends there?
I had more friends at Calvin, and funny enough, I've maintained friendships with them even now. Like some of my closest friends to date are friends that I met in Calvin. And they're doing well for themselves. You know, the likes of Sharon, there's Kabelo, there's Dodo, there's Buba, there's now the late Tato. Like I've kept those friendships, and it's because it was just like, it was such a space where you're either the it group or you were not. And I don't think we were it. But I'm glad at the time we weren't, because I think it would have came at the price of becoming something post school, you know. So I'm glad we weren't relevant, or whatever that looked like back in the time. And yeah, but the social, adjusting to the social dynamics, Jaco Calvin, it was quite like, it was comfortable because of the people that I was trying to adapt to. Because I already joined the squad. So I was the new girl who's trying to who's trying to break the squad, you know. But they welcomed me, and yeah, we've kept friendships beyond that time.
What was your childhood like? Like the spaces you grew up in, family, environment.
So my childhood, I'm a second born of five. Yes, I have 4 brothers. I'm the only girl child. So all of them think I belong to them, except to myself. So I think growing up in a house, in a male-dominated household, sort of shaped my perception and interactions with men. Funny enough, I still say till today, I hope that when God gives me kids, it's boys. You know, wow. I'm more familiar with that. I think I'd be a better boy mom than I would be a girl mom, because I've never interacted with kids at that level, girl kids at that level. So I think coming out of the advantage of growing up in a male-dominated household is like going outside, male attention didn't faze me. Exactly. So getting a compliment from a man, it didn't feel like, oh my God. Exactly. It was just okay, you know. Yeah. So I think that is the upside of it. But I think on the, you know, relational front of things, it came in as a bit of a challenge, because then I had standards, or like standards to hold up male interactions, to hold up commitments of men, to hold up, because my brothers love me, guys. Like they do whatever for me, you know. So when you do meet a person, and even if without intention, they are not, you know, being nonchalant, because I know what being cared for by men looks and feels like. It was easy to compare that to what I was getting from my brothers. And yeah, that was pretty my childhood.
So like at home, like with your parents, what were your parents like? Raising the 5 of you guys, and the experience from them as the only girl child, was it easier for them to
raise a girl? I think my parents, and I'm discovering now that it's not just my parents, but I think parents tend to raise girl children more different from how they raise boys. And the reason I'm saying this is because I think my mom is very soft on my brothers. Like, what's like, they get away with a lot, you know. and on the other front, I feel like, hey, the expectation on my end is quite high. Like, my brother can do the exact same thing I do, and it wouldn't be a big deal with me.
You guys are not the same.
But I didn't appreciate that, and I still think I don't.
You shouldn't, because he's a man and you're a woman. You know.
But why?
Eh?
Like why is it different? Why does it have to be different or visibly different? Like it can be different, but it's got jumpy. We expect a lot more from you on how you must carry yourself, on the time you must get home. Like those are little things, but if you look at them collectively, they form a big difference in the kind of people we become.
I think it's just probably because of who we are, where we come from, our own cultural, traditional values that our parents were brought by, and how to see a girl and how to see a boy, how to raise them so that they can become certain people in our own communities. Because as a woman and as a man, we both have like different roles that we're supposed to play, and how they see you as a woman in your community means a whole lot. And also how you see yourself, because we see it as being straight, and I think as you grow up, there are some values that are instilled in you that you don't consciously see. But as you grow, as you move, you realize you behave a certain way and you believe in certain things because of how you were brought up.
I personally am a testament of that. Like I am very, I think a lot of what I do is based on what I saw being done. And I'm glad that example was something to be proud to mimic, you know. Because I think even in my interactions, but I still think I do hope that when I do parent my own kids one day, I don't differentiate in the parenting. I don't know. I think I disagree with, that's the one aspect of parenting I disagree with. I really do. I wish I could change it.
Yeah.
I really wish I could change it.
Change it to what?
Change it to grooming kids the same way. Like, change it to not gendering it. You know?
If you were to give me a hypothetical situation, like what would it look like? The vision that you have.
Like I would, you know, if something is an issue with one child, it must be an issue with all of them.
Something
you
like
know,
what?
and before I go into that, I have to say that I'm glad my mom did that with me, you know, because I think that would have turned out terrible, guys. If I could come home whatever time I wanted to, if I could wake up whenever I wanted to.
So you do see the point of
I do see the point, and I do see the benefits, right? But I think it's because I opened up my mind to it. Like if I decided
and that's what everybody else should do.
No, that's what parents should learn not to do.
No.
You know, I think parents should unlearn that thing. But I do see its benefits. I think a lot of my sort of hyper independence comes from being told as I grow up that you are an example to your brothers, you know, and that when they ultimately grow up, they should aim to marry someone like you, you know. So I think I grew up with that pressure.
Do you see like the standard and like whatever it is that they were setting? Because and then you bring us like.
I still think my brothers are going to shock us. We don't bring anyone home.
Wow.
I still think they're going to come with a shock of all of our lives. But but I do see the benefits. I just wish it wasn't so blatant. Like I wish it wasn't clear to see. You know, I would be worried about getting home and my brother would not
your
care.
wishes are just so
they are not, because they are very valid. They are very valid. Maybe it's because I think I'm a feminist at heart, so I'm just like 50.
The world doesn't really work like that.
It doesn't.
Yeah. So,
but I'm prepared to be involved in the work that makes the world work like that. Even if I won't live to benefit from it.
Work like what?
Like that, like in a feminist world.
Okay.
It's worth a try. It's worth a try, guys.
So before you became a lawyer, what did you want to be?
I've always been clear about what I wanted to be here, and it's law. And the reason I'm saying this is because there was never a point where I was confused. There was a point where I wanted to go into journalism. That was a phase. I'm glad I snapped out of it. In 2017, beginning of, like, right after matric, before our results came. But I think it's because I was trying to prepare myself for, I didn't think I got the marks that would get me into law school. So to protect my mind from the expectation to go into law school, I was like, in fact, let me do journalism. And I was offered that course, I think, at Birds. And then a couple of, like, days before accepting it, then I got my law offer. And then I went and I did. But I don't think there was ever a point where I wanted to be anything else. But now, I think if I was good at maths, I would have been an accountant.
An accountant?
Yeah. I think there's something about women in finance that just, like, it's a big deal for me.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So why did you only apply to Cape Town for law?
No, I applied to quite a number of universities. I think I got like 4 offers, and that includes UJ. 2 were in Gauteng, one in Cape Town, and the other one in Durban. But I applied to quite a number of universities because I needed to be as far away from home as I could. So
why?
I don't know. I wanted to see myself when I'm free. Like, I wanted to discover what kind of person I am when I'm not under, the protection of my parents and
And how did that turn out? What was the experience like?
I think the first year was insane. In fact, the first 2 months of the first year were crazy because, no one is monitoring what time you come home. No one cares what you dress like. No one is even telling you to go to class. Like, it's just you and your decisions. But I think I quickly, snapped out of that and had to constantly remind myself why I am there and why it's important that I keep the main thing.
How did you snap out? Because a lot of people do not survive the first 6 months of varsity. A lot of people drop out. Like, they don't make it to June exams.
Yeah. I think for me it was more so there are certain, like, values that I've lived by, and they've assisted me to hold myself accountable to myself, even without someone coming to say you're losing sight, you're losing track. And I think it would have been sometime in May, just before the exam. I went out with a friend, and then I came back early in the AM. And I couldn't sleep. Like, I don't know why I was struggling to sleep. And I just sat and thought about what my decisions at that time would lead to, I had to be realistic with myself. But if I continue long enough with what I'm doing, how far is it going to take me? Who have I seen who I'm trying to be like, do what I'm doing and achieve what they've achieved, So those are the conversations I had with myself, and that would have been my last reckless outing. As an undergrad. It's important that I take it as an undergrad, guys. So I think that's how I pulled myself out of it. Just those brutally honest conversations with myself. Or the path that I'm taking is not going to take me where I'm trying to be.
So how was life there really in Cape Town? As like a black girl from Beresford in Europe, because it's a mini Europe apparently.
It is.
The racism and everything that's going on. What was the experience like?
Cliche as it may sound, it's literally a classic small girl, big city kind of situation, and you quickly need to locate yourself in that big city and understand I can't be everywhere at any point with everyone. Like, I need to find a path. I think Cape Town is, hey guys, Cape Town is big and Cape Town is ballers. Like, people who don't mind spending on girls,
It's Europe,
Exactly, and it's a tourist attraction. So you can imagine there are men who leave countries to
just
be,
come in Cape Town,
to be in Cape Town and have a nice time. And I think learning that and learning that no man who's a millionaire that you meet in Cape Town is trying to marry you. Like they're here to find and back
They'll be outing for
exactly.
Going back home.
And I saw it with a classmate of ours. She unfortunately in our first year she fell pregnant and had to go home, and I think that seeing that play out in front of my eyes and right close to me, I had to realize exactly. I am one decision away from being a victim myself. So I think on the racism front of things, I think Cape Town is not. You feel the racism when you try enter its systems. When you try get into corporate, when you try and it's not racism. They serve your white counterpart before they serve you. It's very subtle, But you feel it when you get into spaces where you are trying to have a voice and you realize that it's not received as well as it would be if it was coming from someone. And I've seen it even in my time in the SRC, because you sit across people and you realize that the only reason what you're saying is not going to be implemented is because of a color of your skin, not because it won't benefit students, not because it's blatantly because of that. But I think also in corporate, just learning that I have friends there who remained and they work at their dream companies, but they're also honest enough with themselves to know it doesn't matter the amount of work you put in, your white counterparts are going to be recognized and caused to climb the ladder faster than you do. And I think that's the system is the racism is rooted in the systems, not really in the culture. Not in your interactions with people at the beach, not with your interactions with the staff when you go out to the hotel, to your table mountains. Those people are chilled, know. But when you do get in and you're trying to make something of yourself, the resistance, you can pick it up, but it's mainly because of where I come from and what I look like.
What were you doing in the SRC? Why did you go there?
Hey guys, I funny enough, I love politics. I think my activeness in politics, I sort of decided to take a backseat when I came into corporate because they can't coexist. Corporate is a brand and they don't
Politics is a different hustle.
It's a different hustle, and nothing is out of reach. That's the problem. In politics, when people take you down, they leave no stone unturned. And I'm at a point where I'm trying to build my career as an attorney, and you need to be as clean as they come to join what people call the noble profession. You can't be causing trouble, you can't be controversial, your name must uphold a certain level in society. And
do you think that's fair? Because I feel like that's one of my biggest, I don't know what's the word, I want to say challenge. What I hate about corporate, because you have to have to behave a certain way. There has to be a lot of things. Even the look, you have to look a certain way. Do you think that's fair? Like, is it a sustainable life to live?
I think, as with everything else, there are sacrifices to make in exchange to anything really in life. Is it fair? It's not. It's really not fair. If there was a way you could be in corporate and still maintain a part of your who you want to be and still climb tables and have your video trend without losing your standing in the boardroom, like if those are things that could happen, I personally would be involved in the work that makes sure they happen. But I think as with everything else in life, there is a price to pay, and I think the price to pay for corporate is to leave a lot of what as life as usual, to trade it in, so that when you enter a boardroom conversation, people are not mentioning you with Savannah on your head, because they saw a video of you the night before. I think it's not a fair price to pay because it takes up a whole chunk of you. But I think it's a necessary price to pay if what you think you are going to pursue is worth losing as much as it costs you. Yeah.
So what did you get from being part of the SOC there? Like, what would you say you got out of that little experience? Yeah.
I think it enhanced. So we led in the SRC during COVID, and we've had it be said that it's unprecedented time. So I think leading in a time where the previous SRC cannot even advise you because they never led in such a term or under such circumstances, it teaches you to sort of trust your, I don't want to say your instincts, but to not second guess yourself because no one is there to validate it, no one has ever done it before. So I think that is the one part of it, to really make a decision and stick by it and understand it has consequences. I might as well make a decision. Which is a value or a principle that has extended even outside of the SRC, but even to other parts of my life, to be firm in making decisions and to accept, or if I'm wrong about it, it's a bed I'm prepared to lay on. That, but also I think another benefit was learning to articulate myself better. I think being in the SRC and addressing so many, on the one occasion you're addressing students, you're addressing management, you're addressing the media, it teaches you to learn how to gain some sort of confidence in what you say and how you say it. Yeah,
you have to be able to speak in such a way that people are willing to listen to.
Exactly. Sometimes you speak to students and they're booing at you because they're not saying what they want to hear, But yeah.
And Barking, your NPO Rise of a Nation, when did that happen?
2018, 2019.
Are you still at school?
Yes. And at this point, I'm still at school.
What sparks it?
So in 2018, I hosted a debate competition at Mafadi. I was home for, I think, 3 weeks, if not a month. And my younger brothers went to that school. So one day I got there and I realized when I was in grade 10 at Calvin, I wasn't like this, And this is not out of disrespect for the school, but I noticed there's the pace at which the learners are developing. It's not satisfactory. You have a conversation with someone in matric and you're like, this is someone who's going to varsity next year. Not even in a bad way, but
what are you saying? What is it? What is it that you don't like?
Something like
mindset or
mindset. So I'm one of the people who think education extends far beyond book knowledge. If education doesn't change how you perceive the world, how you reason, and how you judge things, but also how you interact with politics. A lot of people think politics are limited to ANC, EFF, DA, and it goes far beyond that. And whether we'd like to believe it or not, politics affect each one of us because at the helm of our leadership are political employees. And having conversations with them, something in me just felt something here is not right. And I think I slept on it that night and I decided I'm going to host a debate competition. And it involved quite a number of schools. I think Sihlaku was there, Mapuche, is it Mapuche? Yeah, it's along F37. So there were quite a number of schools. I think 5 schools participated in it, and we didn't have much prizes. I'm actually very grateful to the sponsors we had at the time because it was a concept that we put to action in a couple of days, weeks at most, We didn't have much prizes because it wasn't about giving someone something to walk away with. It was really just about the week. So I would go there every day leading up to the competition to just prepare the learners and to speak to them and to hear those who were participating in the competition. Speak to them, and engage with them and really share my own experience of coming out of a village as small as Motolo to being in yes to being in something as in a city as big as Cape Town. And I had that so we hosted it in 2018, and then in 2019 we took it to Talamoshad. We were launching the Rise of a Nation.
Yes.
We launched the Rise of a Nation in 2019, and then in 2020 we were supposed to do a tour. Like we're supposed to tour around, I think we targeted 9 public schools along update 7. Then COVID hit us.
Yeah. 2019.
Yeah,
Yes.
So COVID hit us and we couldn't do that. But it's still something that sits at the core of my heart. And I think once I've settled into corporate and into prioritizing and knowing where exactly it is that I want to take that passion and how far it is that I'm prepared to let it take me, it's something I very much still want to commit to at some point. But that's what sparked it, seeing that something needs to be done and not just going to social media to rant about how public schools are bad, they're not offering the level of education these learners should be getting, but really trying to be
do
involved.
Something about
yes,
it,
do something, yes.
Not just talking about it.
So that's what sparked the Rise of a Nation.
Big shout out to you, eh?
Thank you.
So then you graduate and then you move to Joburg.
Yes.
Was that like back to back, like, or
it wasn't
or
back to back?
Or there's like a movie in between.
Hey, there's a movie in between, eh?
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't back to back. So I completed my LLB in 2020. 2021, I'm unemployed, and I'm like, I'm not going to stay at home, you know?
Yeah.
So when I left home in 2021, there was nothing really I was leaving for to go to Cape Town. I was done with my studies, and I hadn't gotten an offer that side. So, hey guys, I always tell people that for me 2021 was a game changer in so many ways, because I think certain things you only understand better when you are experiencing them. You know, things like unemployment and because for a very long time privilege teaches you that people who are not employed are lazy. They are not doing enough to come out of that system.
Apply.
Exactly, apply. So I think 2021 for me shifted how I view that and how I interact with those things that affect people, even though they are doing as much as they possibly can from their end. I only got the offer to the firm I work for mid-2021. So in June, that's when I got an offer to relocate end of 2021. But the first 5 months, they were so unclear.
You were in the city?
I was in Cape Town, yes. So the whole time, I spent the whole of 2021 in Cape Town. And yeah, like the first 5 months, I didn't know what I was doing with my life. Also coming from being in the SRC, you're addressing students, you're addressing everyone, you're busy, you're championing things, and then now there's nothing you're doing.
Yeah.
You know? There's nothing you're doing, and you don't know how to deal with that part. You don't know how to sit and really understand, okay, this is a season I have to go through for whatever reason it is that I must go through it. So that's what my 2021 was like. And then I moved to Center. And yeah, it's a complete different life from my life in 2021. But I think my ability to appreciate life as it is now is based on my experience of 2021. I think had I not experienced that, I would have been a rat who's just, spoiled and thinking, why are they not doing
boiling life?
Exactly. It humbled me, and I'm grateful for that. I'll always be grateful for that, for those seasons, man, that look like it's just confusion. Also, why would I not apply? Why would I be a graduate and not apply? You know? So those are things that really prepared me to to come into this time in my life where things seem to be taking a bit of direction.
So when you get to Joburg, you're like, now you're working now.
Yeah.
But before that, I think you said you were speaking at some events in Cape Town. What is that? Is it working?
Yes.
Agenda Women?
So Agenda Women would be in Sandton in my time when I've already relocated. In Cape Town, I was speaking at a couple of events, like facilitating good debate competitions and other events, and really I think I did a lot of Women's Month talks, but also a lot of like activism work where you are invited to. I think a lot of my speaking engagements in 2021 were really just to come and say things that not anyone else would say.
What are those things?
I was very controversial. I still think I am, but when necessary, I was just very
what
controversial.
What would you say? Tell us. We want to know. Tell us.
No, it's not even bad things as such, but it's just, you know, when you're speaking on a topic as and when it happens, like on a controversial thing, because this would be at the time when this Zuma saga happened.
Which saga? Because Zuma has like 7 DVDs of
But you know what? Do you remember that outbreak in 2021 where
what is it?
Where they wanted to imprison him, and and Zulu, the tribe went and camped outside of Nkandla, trying to protect him from law enforcement. So that's literally just one example of the many things that I was invited to speak on as they were happening. So at the time, not many people are trying to speak on them because they are waiting for popular views to come out of the media so they can align to them. And a lot of other things, I think the feminist movement as well. But also at that time, there were quite a number of, like, a lot of cases, man, happening with the killing of women.
GBV.
Yes, GBV. I think it was I don't want to call it its prime because I think in South Africa it's always been. But I think it was getting the attention of media.
Like
Yes. So I was invited to speak on quite a number of those topics that are very uncomfortable to tackle. Yeah.
Is that what you guys do at Agenda in Women, or now this is a whole different space?
So Agenda Women is a whole different space. Agenda Women is a summit, right? And what happens there is that conversations are had around a lot of things. So when I was invited, I was on the financial wellness panel. I cannot tell you. I was on the financial wellness panel, and there were quite a number of panels. Like they also spoke on corporate, like how to navigate the big space that is corporate
as a
woman. But there were men that were invited. I was actually about to come to that. There were guys who were invited to speak on male.
What are their pronouns, those guys?
No, they're men.
I'm just trying to find out.
No, they are men. I'm gonna send you a link to the YouTube video. You'll check them. I'll even send you a timestamp, so you know what to look for. But the conversation those guys had was really eye-opening, because when you think of feminism, it teaches you that it's, you know, the rise of women at the downfall of men, you know. But when men are brought into such conversations and to speak of it and to speak of what it looks like to them, it's a game changer, because you really, I'm one of the people who only now am starting to believe you can't change society by changing an aspect of it, because women, in as much as we are a majority in society, we are not society. you know, and you can't empower women without involving. Yeah, so you can't really empower women in a way that is sustainable and benefits society without involving men in those conversations. So Agenda Woman really captured that right, because there was an entire panel dedicated to men, where they were speaking about what it is that the feminism culture does wrong to aggravate, not really patriarchy, but what is it that causes men to resist feminism in the ways that they do? Because a lot of men are not comfortable with feminism.
And what is it? Like just a mini scoop?
It's quite a number of things, but from the top of my head, I can think of things such as, you know, when you tell a boy child, you know, such comments that teach men, don't be emotional, don't be human, don't cry, don't look disappointed when life is not going your way. Don't tell your woman when you don't have money, or don't tell anyone when finances are not channeling the way you would have liked them to. But those things that teach men stomach failure alone and don't communicate it, you know, they spoke about how those things bottle up, and before you know it, they cause you to be a person you would have otherwise not been if there was a safe space to come and say such and such a thing didn't become what I thought it was going to be, and because of that I need a bit of time outside, or time to really just regroup. You know, those are things that I think as women we are entitled to in society, but men aren't really. You know, a classic example would be the amount of videos that have trended when men were trying to go down on bended knee and the lady said nothing. It was a joke, you know, it becomes a joke a lot of times when they propose. And then the girl says no, like the girl feels cool and trend. But society, in making such videos trend, no one stops to think, what are we doing to the man who went down with such intentions and wanted to make such a commitment, you know? So those are things that if they were to be done, a lot of things that are done to men, if they were to be done to women, you know, feminists would be up on their feet and they, you know, same is not extended to men. So they spoke of those kind of things that we look at as very shallow and
guys, official good, by the way, shit.
But those kind of things, man.
Okay, like I hear you. Give us your scoop about what you gave them on your financial what?
Financial wellness.
Financial wellness.
Yeah.
What did you tell them? Can you give us a summary?
A summary of what I told them. I think the main thing for me was live. You know, a lot of people say live within your means, and I'll always say live below your means.
Below.
You know, way below. People must think you have way less than you do. I think there's an appetite to prove wealth is on. Like a lot of people want to look rich, even richer than they actually are.
That's because of that thing. Baby thing. It has like there's an app with like a camera in you. Hey! No, fucking Instagram.
Yeah.
Fucking Instagram.
Yeah. But I spoke of that for live way below your means, because funny enough, you find that the people you are trying to give a show to, they are not going to bail you out when your landlord comes and fetches your things out of the room, you know?
December. And then in January, when you have to pour petrol, you know, and go back to your place.
Exactly.
Onion.
You see? You don't even have food, but you are popping the most expensive bottle there is, you know? So I spoke of living way below your means, and that really comes with being secure in who you are, because I think the need to prove that you have money, it is very much associated to the need to be loved and to have people deem you and think you are the person to be next to. So I think living way below your means, But I also think accepting that, I think for me, I spoke a bit on understanding if you are to undo a system, in this case, what we call generational curses, if you are to undo that and to break it and to realistically break it and not just, a lot of people post a picture in a random dealership, they're breaking generational curses. Guys, taking a picture at a dealership is not breaking anything. Buying a car is, a whole lot of other things. But if you're to actually break generational curses, you must be prepared to spend quite a number of years looking like you're not breaking them. Looking like you don't have money, looking like you are not making any progress. And I think those are things that a lot of people are grappling with, because the fact that it means you can't pop bottles, and you can't explain to everyone who's in the bar, guys, they don't care, You're either popping bottles or you're not. But the Lamana school fees at the best private school, people don't care.
They don't know.
Exactly, if you're not rocking up in an outfit of 40-something thousand and a watch of close to 50K, people think you don't have money, but it doesn't end there. So I think for me, just being, I was speaking about the importance of being prepared to look poor when you're building something that's going to outlive you. And it doesn't really have to be a house, it doesn't really have to be tangible things, but when you're building wealth and unlearning systems of spending more than you have, you must be prepared to not look like it. You must be prepared to not look like you are taking home tens and tens of thousands, and being comfortable with that, being comfortable with being labeled broke, and being comfortable with not, another thing that I had to learn, guys, Sandton has multitudes of restaurants to go to, the edge, exactly, too many. If you are to try and keep up, you're going to die in the system, So I think at certain times to really just go home and cook your groceries, and just live within those things that a lot of people are now trying to make it look like they are a disgrace to adjust your lifestyle within. So I was speaking about that. Part of financial wellness means looking at, just because you can afford something, it doesn't mean you must buy it, if you don't need it, and I think that's really important to understand. Okay, I'm buying this thing, but how is it going to help me create this life that I'm trying to create?
Do you think you're influential?
In what area?
In life, it doesn't matter. Whether on social media, the spaces you live, at home, where you come from. Pulling up,
I don't know. I don't
be honest.
think. I'm not trying to
be honest. Don't try to be more. Don't be afraid to bruise anybody's ego.
I don't think. I don't think I'm influential. I do think I gather a lot of attention that I would like to.
So yes.
I think people notice me. You
don't think anybody wants to be like you, or anybody wants to do the things that you do?
There are people who want to be like me. They said it. No. But what I wanted to say.
Why? Do you feel like maybe the responsibility?
Yeah. I don't want to be influential. Yeah.
I know.
Rather, let me say, I think I am, but I don't want to be. I'm not striving to be. And the reason for that is because I just. It's a lot. I'm still navigating a lot of things, and I'm still trying to figure out so many things. So to sit and want to have people, look up to me, it's not something I'm trying to do.
I think we want to be so perfect. We want to know how to do things, and like those people that you're influencing, like they're allowed to take. They're allowed to take whatever they can take.
Yeah.
So yeah, We took a young short break over there, dropped the mic, but we're back. Yeah, we were talking about influence and the responsibility it comes with. I feel like a lot of people don't want to be influential because a lot of people see us as role models, and we have our own lives that we're living. It's not our responsibility to be anybody's role model. But if I'm influencing you to do music, take that. Don't take
the whole thing.
Don't take the whole package.
When someone tries even corporate, now they want your Mjolo. Guys,
exactly.
Leave my life alone.
Yeah, that's
leave
the thing.
Other things alone. That's the problem.
But, it's not our responsibility to be like, take this, take that. I feel like, parents have to do their jobs. The community these people come from have to do their jobs. The schools they went to. You shouldn't. Yeah, you are influential, and it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I spoke to. So I was at a wedding a Sunday, right? Saturday, and one of the girls who participated in the debate competition I hosted years back. She came up to me. She's like, "Oh, and I'm thinking, and she was telling me, "Oh, you've influenced me so much." So she's studying law now at UWC. Funny enough, so she's like, "I'm literally walking in your footsteps," and I'm like, "Great." And I hope she doesn't take offense when she sees this. But as we were talking, I was explaining to her how it's important that, regardless of how influenced people feel, it's important that they still find a path of their own,